Studio 2 at the worldwide headquarters of ESPN.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Raising Cane's studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Be fine.
No, I'm just saying that. That's
Right above the elbow.
Yeah, right above the elbow. Like,
Shannon,
if they got that meat hanging from their arm, you know that food on point.
Hour
You got one of them skinny
last hour
arms
of
in
the
there,
week
kitchen
here.
fixing that food.
Hunt
You better not
Palmer
eat
Show
it.
brought to you by Quirks, Cajun
I need one of them
fried
big
fish
arms with
and
that meat
shrimp.
hanging.
Menus always online at
That's how you know the food gonna be seasoned. It's gonna taste right. You go in there, you got one of them skinny arms. You better get the hell up out that kitchen.
Earlier today,
This is Freddie and
saw
Harry.
Trinidad Chambliss out there, saw John Steer out there. No LSU representation at the Mantastic Academy. Sam Levitt may be healthy enough to be there, maybe not. Either way, he was not there. But we'll hear what Chris was able to.
And greetings and salutations, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the best show on your radio. Welcome to Love Friday when it comes to Freddie and Harry, and we are here. He is David Dennis Jr. in for Harry Douglas and Freddie Coleman on Sirius XM Channel 80, the ESPN app. Don't forget about us and tune in. Tell that smart speaker to play ESPN Radio and check us out on ESPN Plus. And on this Love Friday, David Dennis Jr.
Also want to see if
Why are you shaking your head east and west and not north and south? Why are you shaking your head from side to side, brother?
This is why.
Get some of that information.
This is why
Chris
Harry
Marler
got to
coming
be
up
on a
15 minutes
10-second
from
delay.
now. Right now,
because you can't
want to talk some SEC
talk
football.
about the
Bill
meat hanging
Connolly's
from the arm. Don't nobody need to know. Sometimes you got to keep the recipes inside. We don't need to know about the muscles that come from the macaroni scooping. Those macaroni scooping arms. He know about that. He don't got to tell. We ain't got to tell everybody. You got to talk about the macaroni scooping arms and mixed company, man. Come on now. Come on, Harry.
I'm sorry. Have you
decided
not met Harry
annually
Douglas
by
the
a
fourth,
touchdown
David Dennis
or
the second?
less.
Have
And
you
that
not
is-
met the
really fascinating,
artist,
and I think it allows
the
for
man that is Harry
the
Douglas,
most
where there's no
teams
such thing as a filter button
in the league to
There's
make
no
a
such
push.
thing as
You look
maybe
at the
you
Big
shouldn't say
Ten,
that.
and I think it would
There's
really
no such thing as don't
people
cross that line.
if
I'm
someone
sorry.
outside the
Have
group
you not
of Ohio State,
met Princey
Michigan,
and Harrison's dad
Penn
before?
State, Indiana,
when it comes to Harry Douglas the fourth,
made a
Not the
push,
big,
right?
not the big mama your foot on
For the SEC,
radio.
would you
Come
be
on
surprised?
now. Come on.
If Georgia made a push, no.
We can't do
You're
this.
surprised
What do you
A&M
mean? You're right.
made a push? No,
We
they've
can't
both
do
been in the
this.
playoff.
We
Same with Ole
should do
Miss.
this.
Tennessee's
But
been
he
in it.
do
Taylor's
it.
been in Oklahoma.
He
all the
do
time.
it. He do it all the
Been in it.
time. But that, he
I don't
don't
think you'd be
understand. Like
stunned
you
if
got, you can't
LSU
let
made a
everybody
move.
know that that
There-
meat
there are
comes
just
from the
more
scooping of the
teams
macaroni.
toward
That's
the
what
top
it is.
that
It's the
can-
exercise of
can make a
macaroni
push out of the
scooping,
SEC.
of gumbo
Now, that
stirring,
leaves the door for
all that
more
stuff.
teams
That's
to
where it
fall
comes
flat.
from.
Put it this way, and
But
this is before your time.
It's just a
Remember
league
the old
that
Bugs Bunny
offers a lot of
cartoon?
depth. I would suggest
When he's
it's
already
not as
kicked behind and
top-heavy
took names,
as
and he
it
has a
has been.
pie in his hand,
Absolutely.
and he says,
The Big
"My
Ten
mama said I get a
has-
whipping, I
has
do it.
beaten up the SEC
I do it." And he's the
the
guy in
last
the face
couple
with the
years.
pie, with the face of the
Indiana
pie.
just
That's Harry Douglas.
That's Harry Douglas.
Always
Alabama.
hitting people in the
Toyed
face
with them.
with the pie. He knows he'll get
Miami
a whipping
beat
if
Ole
he
Miss.
do it. He do
Get
it
to the last
all
play.
the
They beat
time.
Ole Miss. Miami
I
went
know
to
Harry.
A&M
I know Harry was getting
and stuffed them in a
I
locker.
know he had
Didn't
to
let
go
them
get
move
that
the ball
switch a few times
offensively
back
at
in
all.
the day.
Nah, you know if Harry had to go
Obviously
get the
the
switch,
SEC, but
he would
you've
have never
seen
gotten switched.
some of the teams from the SEC
He would
show
not
up.
have known.
Tennessee went
He'd
to
have
the
found a way
big
to
house
not
and
get
just
hit.
got
Not get.
clocked.
He would not have been
So-
the disciplinee in
Yeah, the
corporal
SEC is not
discipline.
dominant to the point that it was, but it's still
By the way, speaking
got a
of
lot
that,
of threats,
it's
I would
Special Day
suggest,
today.
at the top.
Involving somebody named Freddie
There are some
Coleman.
teams I want to
There you
talk
go.
about
On this day
briefly, and
22
Taylor,
years
I'll
ago
get some of your
was when I
thoughts
first
on
started
these
officially
big pictures
at
we go through.
ESPN
This is
Radio.
not meant to be a deep dive on anybody.
22
on
years
June
ago
the
on this
26th,
day
but
officially.
I'm looking at
I
returning
had a chance to
production.
be. I didn't think I'd
And
last
South
1 year.
Carolina leads the way.
I was hoping
They're
to
fifth
last
in the
1
country
month.
in returning production.
Here
The
it
North
is
Sellers
22
is back.
years later.
My
Still having a chance to
inclination
do what
is
I
not
love
to
and love what I
trust
do.
South
And I'm
Carolina
completely
to do anything close to
blessed
what
and
they did
honored
2 years ago. I
to have a
think they had
chance
a
to do
great
this
month.
each and every day. I
I
could
think
not
they
imagine a
played
better place
really
to be.
well against LSU
But
and let it
22
get
years,
away.
I didn't think I'd
I think
last
they played really well
22
at
minutes
Alabama
when I first got
and
started
let it get
22
away.
years
And I think
ago.
they
Well, you were
showed
the only
themselves
one.
to
I
be
think everybody
really
knew.
capable by
As
clocking
a
Texas
youngster
A&M
listening
and
back in the day,
beating
we all
Clemson,
knew
who
that
now
you were
think
going to
probably
be
wasn't
here
that great.
until you
It was a great
decide
month, but they
you
were
don't wanna
terrible
be
this
here no
past
more.
year, and I
This
think they'll
is-
be terrible
this
again
is,
this year.
you know, it's
I don't
why it's
care if they
always
have
an honor to be
60%
up here
of
talking to
their
you. You know what I'm going to
production
say, Freddie.
on the
Go
right
ahead.
page
Yes,
there.
sir.
22 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't
I'm
look
tired
like
of
it.
hearing
That
about
black dog.
Nick
What's the
Holder and how he's
moisturizing
just
routine? I'm
not-
telling
He's
you.
not that good of a receiver.
What's
man.
the
I mean, we've been
routine,
waiting
brother?
3 years.
You always you moisturize.
18
Your
yards,
skin
6
looks
touchdowns.
good.
That's
You
by
don't look a
far
day
what
over
he's done in
35.
Minnesota.
You're
He's a
looking
good
like a
quarterback
young
to get
man
the
out
ball.
here on these
I
streets.
don't know.
Appreciate
Freddie
that.
So
Coleman
here's
black
the other
don't
end
crack
of the
because I don't
spectrum,
know if you're
Carolina's
35 or 65. You could be either one.
in the SEC
You're too
returning
kind, number
production.
one.
Because that's how how it is out here.
When you got you do season with another good season.
Your Twitter, your selfie, you got the video, the sun is gleaming and everything glowing in Bristol. You find Bristol, Connecticut, sunshine every time you do the video. You do it every single day. I'm sure it rains out there, but you find the glow, it's glistening. I don't know what it is. We need to get this man an endorsement deal.
I'm not going to trust Barkley in that staff.
You got to do something. What's the
8-9-10 win season?
I'm not opposed
without
getting some extra
without Stowers.
For the Coleman bank account.
Well, they've got a great coaching staff.
If asked,
I would suggest
I will speak.
A regression.
If elected,
they're probably going to start Jared Curtis.
There you go. Damn
it's
sure.
tough
I'm
to start
going
as a freshman in the
There you
SEC.
go.
I think
We got to get it. We got to get the routine, man. Everybody got to know how the man looks so
I
young.
admit this.
The
I'm not
routine,
trying to
Maddie
be
and
coy
Freddie
about
Coleman.
anything.
My mom and
I
dad.
lean on
A
chalk.
lot of what I've been able to look like comes exactly from both of those two. So believe me, they deserve the credit more than any kind of tactics that I do to make sure I try to stay as young looking.
Turnover.
It don't matter. We can still make it. We can still get it.
Oklahoma's a hot button team. They're top 10 in the country in returning production. They're 7th in the SEC.
In a bottle. Just
Tears back.
Dab it on your forehead, dab it on your face, everybody. There you go.
And I do trust Venables on defense. I think they'll be really good on defense, and I'm not sure that offense is great.
David Dennis Jr.
I would think they
in for
would
Harry
fall
Douglas. I'm Freddie Coleman. Hit us on the socials anytime you want. David Channel at David DTSS. My handle at Coleman ESPN.
Maintain the main thing.
The main thing with Freddie and Harry.
Whether it's LeBron, whether it's Jaylen Brown, whether it's the Knicks, whether it's the San Antonio Spurs, there are a lot of big NBA questions that are going to get people's attention this offseason. You can let us know. What is the next big NBA question this offseason? 888 say ESPN, 888-729-3776. Hit us up on the Freddie and Harry call-in line. For me, the big question still, although it's getting closer and closer, the gap between everything else, David, is what are the Lakers going to do about LeBron James?
That is a 7-5
but as long as that Jaylen Brown question is out there involving the Boston Celtics, if he's going to be there, if he's not going to be there, that gap keeps getting closer and closer. If anything, maybe Jaylen Brown is the biggest offseason question, more than where LeBron's next destination is going to be
at the very
in
least
year
knows
24.
what he's doing with the defense. I'm not here to tell you he's Bill Walsh
is a
running a
huge
program.
Question
like
because the
defense ought to be decent, and they got a quarterback and running back that are good.
Is so good.
It feels like a 9-3 team to me.
Is more of a game changer than
Giannis,
especially looking at where Giannis was going. Jaylen Brown, because Jaylen Brown, I think, can go anywhere. Giannis was locked into a couple of places of his choosing. The Celtics
eligibility.
Really
they just want to make money.
To send Jaylen Brown
7 wins
anywhere they want.
And
if they mess around and send him to somebody that is
always
a contender,
you gotta prove it to me, guy.
Like this could change the whole way we look at the NBA. We're talking about
the ship without
Houston. We're talking about Detroit.
Wouldn't you put those in championship they lost a lot of
conversations if he's over there with those teams?
They lost a little bit on their offensive line. I think their defense is going to be good. Honestly, I am a little concerned. I don't know if they win 7 games, but I can see an 8-4.
If that's Detroit,
absolutely
because the reports are out there that Jalen didn't like the contract that is offered him by the Detroit
Pistons. It's hard for me to get there with their schedule, but
a lot less than he thought what he was going to get. Because going into the playoffs, I'm sure Jalen Dillon's thinking, I'm going to ball out.
That's a lot
I'm going to be a grown man next to Kate Cunningham. We're going to get to the NBA Finals. We might win the whole shebang bang, and then the whole shebang bang is going to be in my bank account.
I think if I take a sampling, a random sampling of 20
Jalen Duren had life come at him this fast when he found out you're only as good, or your value is only as good as the last time we saw you.
Quarterbacks in the
Look
SEC.
at the New York Knicks.
They're
the
all
value
going to say
Anthony Towns.
They're going to put Arch Manning
in there too.
The
value of Jalen Brunson.
But like,
the value of OG Anunoby.
I think you've got one of the best quarterbacks, and I think a defense that should be functional.
Last time we saw him in Game 7, what did he look like? He looked like a CYO player playing against high school players known as Jared Allen and Evan Mobley against the Cleveland Cavaliers. That may be more of a question now, because if he doesn't like the contract and he wants to become a free agent, part of a sign and trade, then things really get kind of sticky involving a team that the best record David in Eastern Conference last year.
There are 9 teams
and this is a
that look like they're 8-4 teams.
Huge decision by Detroit. I think they already made
and then if you make
a
that one play and get that interception late in the fourth quarter, or convert that fourth down to run the clock out, or whatever the case may be,
they thought they could,
and you
do what
get
they
that thing
could.
to 10-2 instead of 8-4.
They should have gone gone after somebody because, as we saw in the playoffs, they needed it.
There's just not that big a differentiator for Ohio State this year.
They didn't need a 40-year-old player to be their second highest scorer.
And if they're the worst they can be,
everything they can get. And then I think what kind of fooled them was Jalen Duren. Kate Cunningham goes out. Jalen Duren's putting up 25 and 10. He's looking like Amari Stoudemire out there. Playoff start. You're giving them nothing. So I'm sure he's disappointed by the contract. Everybody else is disappointed about what we saw. The man averaged like 10 and 8.
And that's just not quite there.
That is not all NBA.
Texas A&M, LSU, Bama, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Tennessee.
You can talk about what he did in the regular season.
There's probably a 10 and 2 in there. There's probably a 7 and 5 in there, and I don't think you see anybody to nail it down.
Bam is there.
At this point in the calendar, that's I guess why they play the game and what makes it so exciting.
LeBron James will try to get it done
really
somewhere.
He still wants to play.
I don't think next year is his last season. I thought that maybe. I think he's going to play, or he wants to rephrase the future.
I do see it as an interesting talking point this time of year.
I think he wants to have a whole set where he says, I can still do it, and then have that off into the sunset moment where the league gets a chance to celebrate. I believe he wants to get to 25 years. He wants to play in the NBA 25 years and still be an effective player. So I don't believe for 1 second, no matter where he lands, David, that this is going to be his last season. The question is, where is that going to be? Because Shams Charania, ESPN Senior NBA Insider, NBA Today says, here's how the leagues are operating. Whether they're going to include LeBron James in their future or not.
The Lakers have been operating on parallel paths. One is their checklist of Austin Reeves, LeBron James, Rui Hachimura. The other is seeing the trade market and seeing, can we go absorb?
You're listening to The Hun Palmer Show. Brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Chugging along here on a Friday, brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Looking for a big old shrimp po' boy? You can find one at Cork's. Probably the best one in the city, quite frankly. Jumbo Gulf Shrimp, golden brown, fully dressed, delicious. Get on by and see him. Government between Foster and Jefferson. Check out the menu, corksfishandshrimp.com. The football world, a little bit quiet these days, and kind of the epicenter of that football world becomes Thibodeau for a couple of days. That's where the Manning Passing Academy takes place. Chris Marler was there for us today, cranking out a little bit of content on the way back now. Chris, how are you, sir?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not even joking around. The only thing keeping me going on this stupid drive is the idea of that fried okra and the shrimp po' boy from Cork's.
Yes.
So I'm very much looking forward to get back to Baton Rouge and Government Street, but I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
I have important questions to ask you. One, did any of the camp counselor college quarterbacks get super drunk on Bourbon Street last night and oversleep? Did that happen?
That did not. They were giving away DVD collector series from the 2013 Passing Academy. I'm not kidding. It was like boxes of it, and they were like, "Do you want one of these?" And I was like, "No." And but apparently that was from the Manziel year, and I don't know if he's going to sign him or what. But no one seemed to have done that.
And I have another question. It's very important. I know that you saw Trinidad Chambliss there. How are his tonsils? Is everything okay? I want to make sure that's all taken care of. That's a big talking point.
So he was actually under the advisement of a Mississippi judge.
Okay.
He did not speak.
Okay, good.
He was there, and he looked great. He was very cordial and kind, and part of me wanted to ask him, like, hey man, like, if Sorsey would have had the same judge you had, like, what do you think you would have been able to get away with? But I just asked him what his favorite gas station fried chicken was instead, because I'm a big J journalist, and that's what I do.
We like to hear that. Give me a thumbnail, like what big names are there? I know Trinidad Chambliss was there. I know John Mateer was there. Any others that stood out?
So Arch was there.
Obviously.
Fernando Mendoza's little brother was there. Alberto, Gunnar Stockton, Marcel Reed, Camario Taylor. It was kind of odd. They had C.J. Carr from Notre Dame, and he was seated next to Minchie, the Notre Dame transfer, who's in Kentucky now. And there's about, I think they said 40 to 46 total college players that they have come out and help with the camp. It's a massive, I thought it was like 100 people, dude. It was like 1,000 people, and a very big operation. But that was all of the people that were there. About half of those, about 10 total, showed up to the actual media scrum to talk.
What was an interesting nugget that you picked up from chatting with some of these high-profile quarterbacks?
I talked a little bit. I had to ask Minchie, the Notre Dame transfer, if as an avid Pop-Tart Bowl enthusiast, if he wished that Notre Dame would have gone to Orlando last year. And I thought that was a pretty fun question, and he did not. He was still seemed to be pretty upset that Notre Dame didn't get a chance to play in the college football playoff. But I think the big thing was, Arch and Mateer kind of going through their expectations, with so much coming back in like the top 10 teams and everything that they have on the line going into this year. It was interesting to see Mateer and how much more composed he looked, getting ready for year 2 in the SEC.
Give me your 30,000-foot view on Mateer. We understand last year they got a couple early wins. He got hurt, came back. They were led by their defense. I mean, the offense that I watched play against a bad LSU team with a decent defense was putrid, and then they gave away that playoff game to some team. So what did you think of Mateer's year last year, and what are your expectations coming into this year?
I mean, I'll preface by saying he's a great interview, and he seems like a great kid. I think if we're just having an honest conversation about his skill set, he's got a very high ceiling, but I think that the high ceiling is probably more catered to lesser competition. And everyone talks about how last year, he was the leading Heisman Trophy candidate leaving September.
Yeah.
And everyone talks about how he broke his hand, and that's probably what went wrong with like the rest of the season offensively. But that also just coincided with when they were actually playing good competition. And I think that he's got a lot to prove against really good defenses and like ranked opponents and like the win they had against Bama. I want to say he was like around like less than 58% completion and about like 150 yards. If they're going to get back to the playoff, I think the defense can still be the catalyst that gets them there, just like last year. But if they want to win games in the playoff, I think he's going to have to be taking a huge step forward.
With Chambliss, would you be more surprised if he was a Heisman finalist or more surprised if he wasn't first, second, or third team All-SEC?
Oh, that's a good question. I would be more surprised if he was a Heisman finalist. Listen, I think he's a really great quarterback, and I love the kid they got, the OC they got from East Carolina.
John David Baker.
Love that name. Yes, that is him. I knew it's like he has 3 first names. Some people in the South have 2, and he has 3. So I think the interesting part is it's great that when Kiffin left, everyone at Ole Miss was like, well, it wasn't Kiffin as the mastermind. It was Charlie Weiss. And now it's like, well, guys, both of them are gone.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the targets, I just worry that they're not going to have enough around him to be as good as they were last year. I don't think they're going to fall off the face of the earth. I just don't think with a first-year head coach in a 9-game SEC schedule that the idea that they're going to go 10 wins, it seems absurd to me.
That's what we just talked about in the last segment. I was going through Bill Connolly's S&P Plus, which has Ole Miss as a projected, basically a 7-win team, and Vegas is over-under somewhere between 7.5 and 8, depending on where you're shopping. I just think that sounds light because I think Golding's defense is going to be good, and I think you've got a really good quarterback and a really good running back. I struggle to get Ole Miss to 7-5. It doesn't sound like you do.
So here's my thing with Golding, and I know he's a defensive coach. I know he coached under Saban. I watched that man drop Will Anderson in coverage multiple times on third down. It's hard for me to get over that. But I'll say this too. I love Pete Golding as a coach. I think he's got this program going in a great direction. I love that, like what he's been able to do recruiting. He seems very, very all ball, right? He doesn't care about all the outside noise. Here's the thing. Every even good coach, not just average coach, but good coach, in year 1 of the SEC has their struggles. Saban lost to Louisiana Monroe and lost 4 straight in November. Kirby Smart lost to Vanderbilt on a 4th and 1 jet sweep that he ran with a receiver when he had Nick Chubb and Sonny Michel in the backfield. Great coaches still have a really hard time in year 1 as a head coach, especially in this conference. I don't look at that schedule and I see Oklahoma, Texas, LSU, Georgia. I don't know if he wins any of those games, let alone half of them or all 4. But how do you make sure you avoid the game that you're not supposed to lose? And that's where I think that at some point he's going to run into that same problem that every other coach in this conference runs into.
Let's talk about another guy that you mentioned that won't get a lot of pub because I don't think anybody thinks his team's going to be very good. But Camario Taylor is a heck of an athlete. He ran for like 160 yards against Ole Miss last year, even though his defense couldn't stop anybody in that game. That feels to me, with Lebby coming in, I guess he's 1-15 in SEC play in 2 years.
Hell yeah.
Napier was married to DJ Lagway to save the program, and it didn't work. And now it feels like Lebby needs Camario Taylor to do something. They don't got to go 6-3. But they got to go 3-6, I would think. Like, do you think that's possible with the athleticism, Camario Taylor scoring some points in Starkville?
It's honestly, I hate to have a cop-out answer. It's just hard to answer that because there's so many question marks around him. And I think with a school like, or a program like Mississippi State, they brought in so many players from the portal.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know. Like Bothwell was supposed to be really great last year. Like, is he going to have some help in the run game? Or, like, is the offensive line going to be improved even though they lost a ton of players? I think he is going to be good enough to beat someone. Like, they're gonna jump up and knock off somebody at some point this season. They shouldn't. I just don't know if it's going to be enough because I think he can be really good. He averaged over 350 yards per game of offense in his 2 starts, but that was, you know, Ole Miss and Wake Forest. I don't know how that translates to a 9-game schedule. So I feel like the ceiling is. I'll tell you what. Here's the thing I know about Mississippi State going into this year. If he is a 4,000-yard offensive year and 30 touchdown guy, what does that move the ceiling to? From like 5 wins to 6 or 7? Like, I don't know how good he has to be for them to be average.
It's really hard, and they're second fiddle in that state by a mile right now, and money's hard. It's such a really hard job. It pays well. It's a hard job that Jeff Levy's got there. Last one, did Marcel Reed have anything to say today, and how do you feel about him after they've really not scored enough points in some of their big games?
He was not here.
I thought you said he was.
He was there, but he didn't do the interview.
Oh, okay.
Like, he didn't like there was like 40 quarterbacks there. 20 were supposed to do interviews, and only 10 showed up. So it was great. It was like our government hunt. I don't know. I know you want to talk about that on air.
Yeah, for sure.
That's an hour 3. No, they have Marcel Reed's biggest issue this year, and I'm having a hard time understanding why everyone's so high on A&M. Like, I was high on A&M last year, but one of the reasons why is because they had an offensive line that was the most veteran, experienced offensive line in the country, and finished here with like 177 combined starts. You know how I feel about Trevon Ball from South Carolina and some of the other guys that they filled this offensive line with. You got 4 new starters, and oh, by the way, you lose a first-round receiver that also was a elite punt returner. I think you're in trouble a little bit here. Like Elko's, again, what he's building is going to be great, and I think he's turned that program around a lot. But I just don't see like them being good enough and taking a huge step forward with a new offensive coordinator. They have to replace wide receiver 1, and also 4 starting offensive linemen in this league. Oh, and by the way, on the other side of the ball, Cassius Howell's gone. So I just have a hard time believing that A&M is not going to take a pretty big step back.
Cohen Eccles and Tyree Adams coming to a ring ceremony at the Dixie Chicken near you, I guess. All right, Chris, be careful. Be careful coming back. Go over to Corks and get something to eat, and we appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
All right, thanks, brother.
Chris Marler, LouisianaSports.net. Always appreciate him for giving us a little bit of time here. And he was enjoying scenic Thibodeau, historic this time of year. Friday show is brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. When we come back, a 5-star from the state of Louisiana has committed. It's not to LSU. I'll tell you where next.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp.
Love to remind you about my friends at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They're online at FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com. Incredible deals on trucks in the month of June, but as you can see with the quick check of the calendar, June is just about over. So if you're looking for a truck and want to get by, it may be time to do that today or tomorrow. You can get a 2026 Chevy Silverado at 0% APR financing for 36 months if you get on in June. You can also find 2026 GMC Sierra 1500s 2.9 for 72 months. Again, it's now until the end of the month. We're already at the 26th. If you're looking for a Chevy Trailblazer, maybe a Chevy Track, you can get those for as low as $30,000. Check the inventory online. Check them online at FabryChevrolet.com. You can see every vehicle that they've got. If you're looking for a new vehicle, they're there. If you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle, they've got those as well. Maybe you're looking for a new vehicle for your family road trip. You're going to load up the whole fam and hit the road, maybe to the beach or wherever it is that you may go. Want a new car for that? Fabry Chevrolet GMC is happy to help you. 35 years in Baton Rouge for the Fabry family. Incredible customer service, wonderful reputation, great service after the sale, and an awesome inventory with great deals. Can't go wrong. Make that short drive to St. Francisville up Highway 61. Go see him at FabryChevrolet.com. All right, Albert Simeon, big-time 5-star offensive line from right here in the state of Louisiana over in Lake Charles. Kind of been looking around, looking at LSU, looking at Notre Dame, looking at Texas A&M, and you felt like there was a real chance that he was going to commit soon. And he did today. He did not commit to LSU. He did not commit to Texas A&M. Albert Simeon has committed to Notre Dame. Now, there are mixed opinions on Simeon, and I, again, am not here to tell you and to be a scout. It's not really my forte. I'm not breaking down the film, looking at hand placement, explosiveness, projection to the next level at tackle or guard. But I can read. I can listen to those that do that for a living. And the thought on Simeon is that he was big and physical as a freshman and sophomore and got a lofty ranking and hasn't really bulked up significantly since then. So only 6'3", which is a little bit short for a tackle. And if you're talking about an interior offensive lineman, 295 pounds without a huge frame, maybe a little bit light, but clearly an exceptional athlete and a guy that the recruiting services believe is a very, very good player. He's ranked 3rd in the state of Louisiana right now by the team over at Rivals. And as you look at the in-state rankings, you look at the top 10 in Louisiana, and Easton Royal's at the top. And there's a big Longhorn next to his name. And Elijah Haven is 2nd, and there's a Crimson A next to his name. And you look at Albert Simeon, who's 3rd, and there's a Navy ND by his name. Top 3 players in the state of Louisiana are committed elsewhere. And one of the things that you felt like Lane Kiffin took this job for was to nail down the state and make sure that you're getting the best players in Louisiana to LSU. It's the backbone of the championship team. You can list any team that's won a championship or competed for one here at LSU, and the backbone is the state of Louisiana. Yeah, Joe Burrow had a pretty good go. Not from here. But I would suggest that, Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, Terrace Marshall, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, they were from here. Those guys were Louisiana kids, and they were pretty big impact on that offense. A team also had Patrick Queen, who's from here, Derek Stingley Jr., Christian Fulton, who's from here. Had some pretty good players from the state of Louisiana on that 2019 team. So you got to get the best players from the state, but you're also playing a delicate game with money management. And a lot of players are going to look at the best offer. And I don't know what LSU offered Albert Simeon. I don't know what they offered Elijah Haven. I don't know what they've offered Easton Royal. I do know that they recruited Simeon. I do know that they are aggressively recruiting Easton Royal. And I know that the press from this staff, this LSU staff, on Elijah Haven has been very, very muted. Very little contact. So I can look at this at the top of the state and I can go, okay, if you get Easton Royal, awesome. Could be an instant impact guy, 5-star, #1 receiver in the country. He's the 6th-ranked player in the nation, according to Rivals. You get Royal, best player in the state, that's a big deal. You don't get Haven. I can excuse that. You're not going to get 2 quarterbacks more often than not, and Pop Houston is a really good prospect. We had Preston Guy on in the first hour and said, look, this is a guy that if he was 6'1" would be a 5-star, and he may be a 5-star anyway. He's impressed at Elite 11. He's impressed in 7-on-7. He's been insanely productive at Evangel. Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr. really, really like him. That I can excuse taking Elijah Haven, taking Pop Houston, whichever. You got to get one. You had to get one of Haven Houston, and Nussmeier. You needed to get one, and they did. And again, I'm not here to be an evaluator. So I'm not here to tell you that Haven's way better. I'm not here to tell you that Houston's way better. I'm not here to tell you they missed the vote on Nussmeier. I'm here to tell you need to get one. And they did. And then with Simeon, if it doesn't work out there and you do sign a nice offensive line class and you feel like you have signed multi-year players on your offensive line that can help, and that's not a priority financially for you right now, okay. I'm okay with that. And I'm really okay with him going to play at Notre Dame and not Texas A&M, because you don't play Notre Dame. You play Texas A&M. So beyond those three, you look at the rankings according to Rivals. Ahmad Hudson's 4th, LSU commit. Peyton Houston's 5th, LSU commit. Trey Martin's 6th, LSU commit. Braylon Calley's 7th, LSU commit. So you've done a good job there. Jaden Anding is there in the top 11. You feel really good about your chances to get him. And those are kind of the LSU offers at the top of the state. So if you get Easton Royal in this class, and according to Rivals, you land number 1, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, and number 11 in the state, that's a pretty good year. That's a pretty good year. Now, we'll see what they all turn out to be. I couldn't tell you. Nobody can for sure. But that's a reasonable pull. There are some years where LSU gets, 8 of the top 9. And there are some years where some get away. And I'll be clear, if you don't get Easton Royal and the top 3 go out of state, that's a gut punch. You got 3 5-stars in the state that leave, and then you get Ahmad Hudson, Peyton Houston, Ahmad Hudson. Okay. But if Preston's right in the first hour, and Peyton Houston does get a 5th star, and Louisiana has 5 5-stars, and you come away with 3 of the 5, and the other one is at a position in Elijah Haven that you weren't going to get, I'm okay with that. It's like LSU lost Arch Manning. LSU was never going to get Arch Manning. He was never going to go to LSU. That was never going to happen. So that was not that big a deal when you lost him. But it would be a big deal if you didn't get the top 3, because that doesn't look good aesthetically. It lets people get their claws into the state, and you really don't need to be losing guys from this state to Texas A&M. I don't think a lot of Louisiana kids are going to line up to go to Notre Dame. Notre Dame's a wonderful school. They've got a coach that's doing great things, a great proud tradition. There's a lot of reasons to go to Notre Dame. Leaving the state of Louisiana to go freeze in South Bend, Indiana is not necessarily on a lot of to-do lists for those from Louisiana. So I think it kind of comes down to Easton Royal as to whether or not the cycle is a success or borderline, I would not use the word failure, pushing it in this class. And it's, it's tough because it's a financial thing. But of all these guys at the top, I feel the best about investing in Easton Royal because he's likely a day one helper. I didn't say starter, but helper. And Kiffin has said they want to sign 7 or 8 wide receivers who can play, and then make sure you got 4 or 5 guys that are ready to go. But if you can get a Louisiana kid in who can help right away, that's like Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham and Jamar Chase and Michael Clayton, and the list goes on and on and on. But guys who are ready to go and can help you for 3 years from the state of Louisiana, you do that. And Easton Royal very much feels like that kind of player. So Albert Simeon, if you missed the beginning of this, from Sam Houston over in Lake Charles, has committed to Notre Dame, 5-star prospect. I think that's reasonably good news because it didn't sound like he was headed to LSU, and I don't want him in College Station. I don't want him in College Station to play for them, and I don't want him in College Station to help recruit Louisiana kids to them because you play them. So I'm okay with that news. Now kind of the state focus goes to Easton Royal. That's a guy that LSU needs to lure in, and we'll see if Lane Kiffin and company can do that at some point, whether that's this summer or in this fall or into signing day, which comes at you in December. Albert Simeon headed out of state, and right now, 3 of the top 3, all 3 of them from the state of Louisiana, committed elsewhere, not to LSU.
Fried fish and shrimp.
That last week before vacation, it just doesn't move very quickly. It doesn't help when one of the kiddos is sick and get a bum car that's taking you all over the place. It's just it's a long week, but it's pretty much over, Taylor.
Dude, it's gone by quick for me. The weeks for me are going by quicker because we have a child on the way, and it's just happening all too quick for me. So,
quick. How are we feeling about that, by the way?
Dude, she's 38 weeks coming up Wednesday.
That is about the end of the line. I mean, Alyssa did not make it to 38 weeks. I don't think either time.
I told Victoria, I said, look, Hunt's out next week, Moscona's out next week. So if you can just clinch it or hold it in,
I'm sure she really appreciated
Friday, that would really.
She loved that. Can't sleep, totally uncomfortable. It's 1,000 degrees outside. She's carrying a child, and you're saying, I got to work next week. So could you just give me a few days?
Look, we don't work Friday. Friday, go crazy.
Okay. All right. Well, that's exciting stuff. So by the time I come back, you might be a dad.
It's very possible.
That would be exciting stuff. It's a whole new world. I'm looking forward to hearing stories about that. I told I don't remember who was in here. I think it was Braxton maybe earlier this week that I had a 4-year-old in my bed at 3 o'clock in the morning the other day, and he goes, "I can't wait to hear Taylor stories about all this kind of stuff." It's like, well, it's a change in scheduling when they show up. What time do you usually get up on a Saturday?
Ooh, Saturday? I mean, I'm up pretty early because I wake up at 5 a.m. every morning.
Correct.
So, I mean, I don't know, 7:30.
Okay, you'll be all right. There are some folks, present company excluded, that may sleep till 9, 10 o'clock in some situations. Those days are dwindling for you in a big, big way, but I guess you don't actually do that, so that's a good thing. Let's do some Take It or Leave It.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, the New York Mets fans chanted Pete Alonso's name this week as the club was swept by Hunt Palmer's Chicago Cubs.
True.
The Mets let Alonso walk this offseason, and they have the second worst first base OPS in the majors this season. Chanting to embarrass the front office. Take it or leave it.
I mean, I need to stay consistent. I'll say leave it.
Just leave it alone.
Because I'm said you can't boo and you need to support your team and not do stuff like that. I'll admit, I was watching the game. It was kind of funny. The Mets have spent so much money. Steve Cohen said, we're going to win. We're spending all this cash. They went and got Lindor. They got Soto. Gone and get these high-priced free agent pitchers, and they are absolutely atrocious. The Cubs played them 7 times this year. The Cubs have no pitchers. The Cubs went 7-0 against the Mets. The Mets are atrocious. And their fan base is not happy about it. And I think it's funny because they have no first base help at all. Alonso's hitting bombs for the Orioles, and their fan base is chanting for Pete Alonso, who does not play for them anymore. It's not a good time to be David Stearns, the GM of the Mets currently.
All right, Hunt. Joey Bosa, no free agent visits this offseason. Okay. Looks like he could maybe hang it up. A lot of people thought he could go to the Niners with his brother Nick. But Nick said, yeah, I think he's working on his golf game right now, not thinking too much about football. Obviously, Bosa's dealt with a lot of injuries, but he's made $156 million in his NFL career, making enough money to retire at 30. Take it or leave it.
I will take that. I've said this many times. My last day of work will be when I don't need any more money. That's the end of the line. So if I win the Powerball next week, I don't think I'll be playing next week. If I win the Powerball, that's actually not – I shouldn't say that. That's not true because I've said on the air, if I did win the Powerball – I would work here within reason until Matt adequately filled my positions. I would do that because I like my job. But it would not be much beyond that because I don't need a sense of purpose if I've got $300 million or whatever it is. My purpose is making birdies.
Yeah, I'm good.
That would be my purpose. My purpose would be going to Cabo, eating a few steaks. That would be my purpose.
I'm good on that. $156 million over 10 years. Yeah. I think I could manage that. The CFL, Brendan Sorsby will not be a Hamilton Tiger Cat because they have said that he is not allowed to play. Has Sorsby started his last game as a quarterback? Take it or leave it.
I'll leave it. They got enough stupid spring and summer leagues. That
fan control football still a thing?
He'll find somewhere to go play quarterback. I think that he'll get a chance in the NFL next year, but the thing is, if he gets a chance in the NFL, that does not guarantee a start. You go find a spot on the practice squad somewhere, you're not starting a game. So it may have to come in one of those goofy leagues. Trivia question. Name Shreveport's CFL team.
Oh, I can't.
Go on.
I can't. Jake's told me this before.
We were season ticket holders. The Palmer family.
Can't do it.
The Shreveport Pirates. Obviously. They had some gaudy uniforms. They were silver, purple, orange, and black. Ooh. It was an eccentric look. Billy Joe Tolliver, quarterback of the Shreveport Pirates. I still remember the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Hamilton Tiger Cats. That's about all I got. But the Shreveport Pirates, of course.
Argonauts. The Toronto
Argonauts.
Yep.
They would have a Canadian football team in Shreveport. It made all the sense in the world.
The Ottawa Red Blacks. What do you think their two primary colors are?
Red and black.
You would be correct. You nailed
it. I thought there was a trick question there. The red black. That's there's a team that's rugby that's the All Blacks.
Yeah, like they're called the All Blacks.
Yeah, and that's a team that Joe Madden studied very closely because they win all the time. And he wanted to study what they were doing, and then he took that to the Cubs, who won, which is good.
All right, real quick. A manager of a Domino's in Virginia entered the world's fastest pizza maker contest. Well, he set a world record, 3 large pies, 31.2 seconds, making him the fastest in this competition. You could take this guy on, take it or leave it.
Leave it. We've got a pizza stone at the house. We use it. We love to make our own pizzas. I would give myself on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being that guy or a master New York guy, and 0 being you don't know what the hell's going on. I'm like a 3. Like I've baked the pizza into the stone because I didn't use flour one time on the deal. Sometimes it doesn't slide off the pizza leaf properly, and it kind of gets all pudgy on there. I'm just not great at it, and I get very frustrated when I'm trying to put it on the stone in the 500-degree oven and it doesn't quite come out right. We like to do it, and we did it like 3 weeks ago, and it didn't go perfect. I'm annoyed by the fact that I'm not better than I am because we've made 20 pizzas over the last 5 years, and I'm not a great pizza maker. It's just it's a real bummer.
I can't make anything, so you're ahead of me.
I am ahead of you. I can make some things. I'm in charge of one night of dinner at the beach. We're going enchiladas. I'm going some chicken enchiladas, some beef enchiladas.
Okay, love
Excited about that. Going to be delicious.
All right, that's it for Take It or Leave It.
That's it for Take It or Leave It. We'll see what my sister comes up with her night. I think mom's in charge of the rest, and then there's some takeout involved. We'll see.